Chris Keegan with NCPP, and Herb McDowell with ITD. Please welcome Chris and Herb.
Welcome back to the second day of this conference. Seeing a lot of new faces this year. Of course, all the Idaho folks that don't normally get to attend this. A bunch of new state folks representing their member states, and of course, industry folks always seem to rotate a fair bit as well. This spring I was attending the TSP2 oversight meeting back east, and we spent some time discussing the organizational structure of TSP2 and indirectly how all these acronyms up here on the slide relate to each other. And I thought it'd be a good opportunity at this meeting to spend a little time talking about how they all line out and then spend some time talking about the TSP2 website, which Chris will do here in a minute. We're obviously here at the Western Partnership meeting. There are 4 regional partnerships, bridge preservation partnerships. There's the Midwest, Southeast, and Northeast as well. We all meet once a year at an annual meeting like this, and before the pandemic, every 4th year we'd get together nationally and collaborate there as well. As far as I understand, we're looking at 2024 for the next national meeting. To go alongside the bridge preservation regional partnerships, there are 4 pavement preservation partnerships, and couple that with a few task forces, and that gives us the overall TSP2 umbrella. TSP2 is the Transportation System Preservation Technical Services Program. It is one of 3 technical service programs overseen by AASHTO Maintenance Committee on Maintenance. They also have snow and ice and equipment management. It's my understanding there's about 24 technical service programs throughout all of AASHTO, or at 24 nearly. And TSP2 is a relatively large technical service program. It is large enough where it is actually administered by a consultant or a different outfit other than AASHTO, and that would be the NCPP, or the National Center for Pavement Preservation. NCPP was established by Michigan State University, and I'm going to read this to get it right, to lead a collaborative effort among government, industry, and academia in the advancement of pavement and bridge preservation by improving preservation practices through education, research, and outreach. Folks like Chris or Nancy, Buzid, and Darlene, they work for the NCPP. They seem to carry MSU email accounts, and I'm sure for the state folks that have been reimbursed for this travel, they'll notice that their checks come from MSU, so MSU seems to do our accounting as well. So how does it operate? Each year, AASHTO bills the 50 states $20,000 to operate this program. These invoices are sent to the state director and generally the research department for each state. Annually, TSP2 has about 47 to 49 states voluntarily participating in this program. Each TSP2 partnership, they have their own set of bylaws, and they pretty well run themselves with guidance from the NCPP. And of course, TSP2 is also steered by the Oversight Committee, which I am honored to serve on, to represent the West and bridge preservation, and overseen by MAC as well and the individual technical working groups. At this point, I'll turn it over to Chris and let him talk a little bit about TSP2 website and the resources that are available there.
Well, I thank everybody for coming. I think we've had some changes within the NCPP. If you don't know, Buzid is our new leader. He took over, I think, last fall. Nancy is also new. She started in January, and I started in January of 2020. So we're all fairly new. You may remember John Hooks and Ed Welch, who ran this program for the bridge side from 2009 all the way up until just last year, and did a really, really good job. And Nancy and I have big shoes to fill trying to do all that stuff. I want to thank our generous sponsors again, David Evans and Associates, ICC Distribution Group, and Michael Baker. They were our platinum sponsors. They provide extra funds for us, which goes into, if we make some money, into the coffers of the Western Bridge. So and that enables us to do lots of extra things. I checked on Sunday to see who all was here, and we had a total of 176 people registered at that time. Industry, that should be 47, not 57, but it was 47. State, local, and academic, we had 42. Idaho, you really stood up. Thanks, Matt, for getting everybody here. We had 16 people. We have local, 8 local people and 1 academic who will be doing a presentation. Federal highways, we have 2, Ed and Chris. And thanks you guys for coming. TSP2 treasure chest, that's what I like to call it. It's a wealth of knowledge. And if you haven't been in there and gotten a few nuggets out of it, shame on you. You know, maybe you didn't know about it before, but it's got anything and everything, all the presentations. Travis said last night he stole one of my slides. It was off one of the presentations that I made quite some time ago. Hopefully this works. Here we are. And as Herb said, we have the Midwest, Northeast, Southeast, and Western. If you want to learn anything about any of those partnerships outside the West or the West, just click on those. We have a list of all our national industry members. They pay $4,500 a year to go to all 4 partnerships. And I think Darlene said we are up to about 52 national memberships. So I think I set a new record. We have also here the Bridge Video Library. And this is where Travis went to find my presentation and stole my slide, borrowed. If it's here, it's good for everybody, and that's what it's here for. You can beg, borrow, whatever you want. This is for you guys. This is your library. This is, you know. And if you want to talk about asset management, the bridge preservation webinars, you know, that thing called the pandemic, we couldn't meet, so we put on webinars, so those are all here. If you want to learn about construction quality, and again, if you go through, then you can pick out, you know, read through these, find them in your library. So just to kind of go through all the different things. As you can see, there's just about anything and everything you'd want to know on this. Scour mitigation, substructure, paint, bridge design, joints, bearing, local agency, superstructure, and timber structure. And this is where, under the timber, and I think Travis and I have just about every presentation under timber. So I don't know what everybody else does, because we all have timber bridges. And as Dwayne told me a long time ago, he doesn't have the money to replace the ones we have, so we have to continue to preserve and maintain them. When I started with the state of Washington back in 1978, they told me, don't worry about timber bridges, we have them all replaced within 10 years. Right now, we still have about 96, last I heard, in Washington. So the good thing is our bridge maintenance folks, they like to maintain those. They like to replace parts, do all those sorts of things. And if you do have timber structures, and I know a lot of local agencies, you do, and you still need to maintain those, check mine out or check Travis's out. Between the 2 of them, you'll learn everything I think we know about preserving timber bridges. And I think Ed stole my thing about the pocket guides. So, because we're kind of running out of time. If you go in there, it's on a ribbon, so you can click on that. All the pocket guides are there. You can click on it. You can download those onto your phone, whatever else, and there's checklists, there's all sorts of things. Federal highways and GPI put a lot of time into it. The partnerships reviewed them all, and before we went out and put them in here. There's one more coming on concrete overlays, which I think still working on, but hopefully will be out soon. There's also specifications from each of the states. So if you want to find out what Idaho does for specifications for decks, you can look those up. You don't have to go search for it. We have it all right here on the site. Cover the national members, the pocket guides, the bridge video library, what the partnerships are. Working groups, we're kind of covering most of those this morning. We'll go through one after the other. And if you're not a member of one of the partnerships, you know, become a member. You just ask us. If you want to get on the monthly calls, let us know. If you go in there to each of the working groups, it says who's in charge, and just send your name in and your email address, and we'll get you on the calls. There's also, for those who do bridge inspection, we have a regional bridge inspection working group, Brandon, right there. He's in charge of that. Right now, there's him, and I think Roman helps with secretarial duties, but we do need a co-chair. It's a good way to get involved, right? Yeah. Okay. Because sometimes he can't make it. He's busy inspecting bridges, and so we don't want that. We want to have a meeting every month. You know, the SNPPY's here. If you're doing your bridge inspection, you know there are a lot of changes. And this is a forum where the states can get together and discuss it. See who's ahead, see who's behind, make everybody come up together. So we're all done within 6 years. And I think that's the end of my presentation. So I think we're close to being on time. So.
Close.
Okay, Matt.
Thank you, Chris.
The preceding was produced by the National Center for Pavement Preservation. More information can be found on the web at pavementpreservation.org. Additional support provided by Michigan State University.